Hi, everybody. Welcome to another Platinum Mastermind call for 3rd of May 2020. And I believe most of us are still on lockdown. I hope you're making use of your time. This is actually quite an amazing time right now to um, do stuff, to be honest with you. There are loads of opportunities right now, and I think now is going to be a time to really position yourself as well because we're seeing a lot of the crap that's normally out there on social media disappearing, and only the people who have something worth shouting about or have something genuine going on are I'm seeing a lot of action. This is a really good time. Like I say, guys, use all the resources that are available to you. Um, go into the group. If you need more resources, let me know. If you need more training, let me know. If there's anything else you guys want to learn, also let me know. This is a great time now. There's so many people online right now. It's unbelievable. So um, it's a good time to really ramp up your efforts right now. This is a great time to start ramping up whatever you're doing. A great time to start looking at alternative revenue income streams, a great time to start applying what you guys have been learning in the group. This time, I don't think it will ever come again, a time like this. And it's going to be like this for, I think, quite a bit. So take advantage, guys. Really, really leverage. And of course, help as many people as you can as well. I'm doing a lot of stuff behind the scenes, helping people, making connections, brokering, um, wherever I can to help as many people as possible. Okay, so again, if you're new to the call, welcome. If you've been here before, welcome back. I appreciate you guys spending your time out of your Sundays to be on this call, so that's great. Okay, so how the mastermind call process works, as always, I put I get everyone to basically get you to state your challenge in the post that I put up in the group just a couple of days before the call. And then from that challenge, we use it in our mastermind process on these calls. As a group, you ask any qualifying questions. I'll also ask you questions if there's anything that you guys can help with. Do you have any contacts, resources, any experience that can help this particular person or a particular colleague in our mastermind? And then obviously we propose some solutions, and I will come up with my solution, having had the most experience in the group on this topic. And I also welcome ideas. And like I say, it's a mastermind process, so we all basically put our heads together and come up with some solutions to help people in our group. So, first of all, this is not particularly a challenge. This is a question Tyrone asked me in the post, and his question was, "What type of business and strategy did you use to acquire your recent business?" So, recently, I have set up two new businesses, which I'm going to tell you more about very soon. Purely online driven, these businesses in two totally different niches. Um, and they are in basically one's in $1 billion industry, and the other you could probably say very similar. Um, but I'm going to talk to you more about that because I want to create some case studies. So I'm going to be driving traffic to these two new businesses that I've created that are going to be businesses that I'm going to scale and grow and sell. So I'm going to document that as I go along, and I'm going to share with you guys what I'm doing on those two businesses for the current climate that we're in. And I recently acquired another business, which is actually an existing seven-figure business. So I'll just talk you through in terms of how I did that with basically no cash down, without any of my own money. So Tyrone asked me the question, and it is a good question. Everyone wants to find out basically, how to leverage and create wealth, which I think was a great question. So I've signed an NDA for that business, but I'm going to tell you that the business was in the wellness niche, and the strategy deal was consulting for equity, which I've done quite a few times before. And this particular deal at the moment, we're just finalizing. Okay, so it is consulting monthly consulting sessions, including LinkedIn outreach. So Tyrone was correct. Tyrone always says mentioned that I do consulting for equity as well, but there's always another component that they want. And we had a discussion about my LinkedIn Introducer service, and talking about Introducer, I'm hopefully, fingers crossed, possibly picking up a new client next week for $5,000 just for the next 30 days on the LinkedIn Introducer, and I'm going to use that as a case study. Hopefully, if he signs up, I will use that as a case study to help you guys do the same. So it's basically monthly consulting sessions, and it's LinkedIn basically outreach. They want to basically leverage my profile on LinkedIn and my connections in the space, and help them create some introductions. Basically, that is what my job is. And I could charge. I told them I normally charge X amount for it. This is what I normally charge for just for that service. But then if you wanted me to come in and do mentoring or coaching, this is what I charge. So altogether, in terms of I gave them a figure. I said this is what you would have to pay year in, year out if you wanted me to do that. So if we're talking about an equity stake here, it should be proportionate to what I'm going to be, what I would normally charge. So that's how we basically did the deal. I can't talk more about numbers because that's on an NDA, but that's how we worked it out. And also, the company is going to cover my tax obligations on any profits recorded. There's a lot of tax implications that come into when you're dealing with businesses. If you're dealing with a company that hasn't received any funding, then it's easy. Your tax obligations are low. But if you're going into a company that has already received first round funding, for example, then the tax obligations they're much higher. So just make sure that when you're going into deals like this, you have an attorney and you have an accountant, especially on board as well, okay, to help you with that. It just gets a bit more complicated if you're dealing with a business that is bootstrapped, for example, and is looking to get you on board for equity to get them a first round of funding, for example, which is a good position to be in because look, strategic partnerships do really well. So one of the things that I always say is having strategic partners shows the validity of the venture, right? That proves the validity of the venture. If you have strategic partners on board, they have basically validated that venture, right? If it's a startup, then that's what you should be doing. So if you're going to go into a startup situation, then a consultant for equity works really well because you're getting the strategic partnerships, and those partnerships are validating the venture, which in turn will allow them to go and get first round funding or funding very easily and quickly. The only downside to that is there's no value really in the equity because it's being built up. Okay, there will be a first round funding, but then there'll probably be a dilution of shares as well, to be honest with you. So you just bear that in mind when you're doing that. But if it's in the tech space, the average at the moment, I think it's $250 million is the average buyout for tech companies. So it's a good gamble and could be worth it. If you're doing it in the tech space. So those are some things to basically consider when you're doing deals like that. If you're doing a deal with, I normally try and do it with the company that's been running for at least a couple of years and has financial equity, okay, in the company. So that's what I base my estimation on in terms of this is how much you would have to pay me for this and this, and I'd take that in lieu of equity. And then obviously, you've got to see as well who's on board. A couple of the guys I know on board, one or two of them have built very, very successful couple of $100 million companies. So I was okay with that because they have a track record. So always look at that as well. The founders must have a track record in some circumstance. Okay, that really, really helps. So I hope that answers your question, Tyrone, and I hope that helps you. Okay, so that's the first question about. I'm going to try and see if I can do some training on that. The problem is, it's a very it gets into a lot of legalese when you're doing any sort of training on this subject because there's a lot of tax implications involved as well. So just I just got to figure out a way to do it that I can explain it in a really easy way. But I hope that helps you guys anyway. All right, so the next challenge is from Stuart, and Stuart has asked the question: are there any NLP language patterns that convert JV partners? Now, I think I was trying to find it in my training somewhere. I mentioned a certain strategy that is NLP based, and I've totally forgotten what it is. But yes, you can use NLP. I tend to not use NLP that much. I'm not a big fan of NLP because when I used to be on the speaking circuit, a lot of the speakers used to use it on the attendees, and I wasn't a big fan of that when they were using a lot of NLP to basically close people. And I wasn't really a big fan of that, to be honest with you. But yeah, there are ways you can use that. Has anyone here used NLP to close deals? If you give me just let me know in the chat box, comment box. Have you used NLP in any circumstance to close a client? And if you have, what have you done? So I'd be interested to hear. There's quite a few of you on the call today. Can you let know in the chat box, comment box, have you used NLP before, and or where have you used it in a business transaction? While I sip my tea. Come on, guys. One of you must have used NLP somewhere, and no, you're telling me none of you guys have ever used NLP? Anyone here used NLP to close a client? Okay, guys, can you hear my voice? Give me a yes in the chat box. Could someone type yes in the chat box? Can you hear my voice? Okay, so okay, all right. So okay, okay, Josh, can you give me a Josh says I've closed plenty of girls with NLP. Oh dear. Okay. All right. Okay. But has anyone used NLP particularly to close? Okay. I guess I don't know. I can't. Got to be careful here what I say. I guess what I'm talking about is close a business deal or a transaction. Now I've used. I'll tell you what I've used before that's worked really really well. Just to answer Stuart's question. I've used something called mirroring. Right. Have any of you guys heard of mirroring? Now, mirroring basically is is copying expressions or copying the tonality of the person sitting opposite you, or um, finding finding a rhythm, okay, that equals the same rhythm as the person you're talking to get them to agree with you, but to make it think that you're agreeing with them. So I think the only thing I can really think about on the NLP front will be that question, will be actually mirroring, which I know is used quite a lot in NLP. There's so many different strategies that people use in NLP, but I think mirroring is one of those ones that I think a lot of people use. That a lot of people use mirroring. So I think mirroring is definitely one of the really most popular ones on the NLP side. Yeah, Johnny said I've used mirroring. I think yeah, mirroring is something that I think is, and like I say, you don't really need. Look, here's the thing, guys. Right, most of the stuff that we do is personality driven, right? You don't have to use NLP because people do business with people they like, right? So you have to be yourself, and I think be genuine. You don't have to use NLP really to close people. You can just be genuine, and that's what people like. That's what people they gel with. Okay, so being genuine, being authentic, I think is the best thing that you can really do if you want to convince JV partners to work with you. And also, look, I've always said to you guys, you've got to put yourself in the JV partner's shoes. They are thinking what's in it for us or what's in it for them. So think about it. What can you give them? What can you over deliver? What can you offer them that will make them say yes? That's all it is. Find the magic button. Find that one emotional trigger, or that one trigger that will make someone say yes to working with you. right? That's what it comes down to. And I'll see if I can put together some training on how to get a person to do that. I think I've got something somewhere. I'll see if I can dig it out, and then I'll see if I can do some refresher training on that. Josh says, if you focus on helping the client with a problem, then get them to say that through asking the right questions. Yeah, obviously, that's one of the ways to do it. And I think also, um, I have done some training on this in the past, so I'll see if I can dig that up and we see if we can do some refresher training on that. I think that will probably help a lot of you guys here. All right, go. So I hope, Stuart, I hope that one helps you if you're watching the recording. Johnny's put a challenge. Johnny's actually challenge is pretty good. He's asked this question, and I want all of you guys. There's quite a few of you on the call today. I want all of you guys to answer this in terms of what you think, right? Before I talk about what I think we should do. So he's asked the question: how can we best leverage the opening back of brick and mortar businesses? So guys, look, this is happening very soon. Okay, a lot of the companies and businesses are going to be reopening. Now, what can we do either before that? Okay, or during that? What ideas do you guys have? I'm going to throw this out to you as a group. So I want you guys to answer this question, or just throw some ideas. It doesn't have to be. There's no right or wrong idea here, guys. Right? So don't be shy. Don't think that if you put something up, it's not going to be the right. There is no right or wrong answer. But what do you guys think? I'd like you to um, I'd like you to put in the comment box what you guys think. What do you guys think how can we help these guys? How can we help these guys? How can we help them leverage the opening back of brick and mortar businesses? How do you think we can help them? Or are they being helped? I mean, have they got enough help? I mean, I know there's lots of funding, but what is it do you guys think that we can do to really, really help? Anybody? Anybody at all? Anybody have any ideas? Come on, guys. We're all marketers here. We're all strategic marketers. Anybody have any ideas of how we can help? How can we best leverage the how can we best leverage the opening back of brick and mortar businesses? I mean, what is it? What do you guys think that we can do? How can we help? And how can we leverage this? Okay, Josh says best way to help is to connect them with similar businesses that have online buyers to drive traffic back into business. Good. I like that. Craig says, I'm developing a return to work online questionnaire. Brilliant. This week's challenge will be looking for a health and safety JV. That is awesome. I think, Craig, I think you onto something pretty big there, because questionnaires are really, really good. And like I say, if you ask questions, right, they will give you basically not only answers, they will give you ideas. So I like that. I think Craig's onto something there. Mike says direct response copywriting. That's good. I like that. I think there's loads of ways we can leverage the current situation. It's looking at what they're going to need, right? What are they going to need to get back on track? They can open their doors and stuff, yeah, and they'll have people probably coming back. But before that happens, how can we not only help them, but how can we leverage it? So I think there's more other interesting areas to look at in terms of leverage. I think distribution channels, right, is what we should be looking at as brokers. What distribution channels are right now disrupted? Where are people not able to get things where they normally get? And how can we step in and provide that distribution for them? Okay, that's what we should be looking at. Craig said no medical for employees return to work fit for work. Yep, I think that's great. I think that's going to be the biggest issue that is as well. People returning to work and all sorts of issues. It's going to be it's a whole new world, guys. Now it's going to be pretty interesting looking at what is happening. Airlines, for example, that's one of the biggest things. Schools are closed. People are going to return to work. Do they want to return to work? Are more people going to be working from home? I think leveraging people working from home, I think is the biggest thing at the moment as well. And leveraging also, there's going to be a lot of opportunities where people are going to be needing help to source products and services, right? Or even find buyers, you know. So I think it's an interesting time right now to look in terms of how we can help. Josh says, by advertising the brick and mortar business, the online community, promoting a sale, or asking who's looking for the type of product. E.g., bathroom retailer could JV with the home channel or social media group and ask who's looking to renovate their bathroom from home and do a great deal on the product, even connect the trades to complete the work. JV with plumber as well for extra revenue. Yeah, there's all sorts of crazy stuff. But I think look out on the distribution side as well in terms of where do people need help to make those connections. Buyers is a big thing. Buyers are drying up. There's no people don't want to spend money, but where else can you source buyers for people who have products? I mean, we're now looking at overseas. We're looking at international buyers and saying, look, we're people approaching me and saying, look, this is what we need. Can you help us? I need to offload this asset, for example, and we're looking for buyers. So, I'm just reaching out to my network and saying, hey, I've got something here that could be interesting. Let's try and see if we can get this asset shifted by by leveraging my network or the people that I know to be able to do that, because I obviously can't do it because I don't have a spare like $5 million lying around in a shoebox somewhere. So, and then there's obviously the protective equipment deals. Those I think are some of them are going to be unicorn deals. Some of them I don't think are going to come through because there's so many people doing that, and I think the biggest suppliers or the people who can move the quickest when it comes to money are going to get those deals. But it's interesting being involved in them anyway. It's quite exciting to be involved in a 50 million and 100 million deal. I think it's quite cool. All right, guys. So yeah, I'm gonna. Thanks, guys, for that. I appreciate that. I'm gonna give you just a quick situation scenario. My scenario would be things like create a customer retention strategy and a new customer JV strategy via coupons, for example. One of the things I've seen a lot of people do right now is while they're all closed, the bricks and mortar companies, they're actually issuing coupons with a value, and they're giving them to JV partners to distribute to their customers and saying, look, come back, or as soon as we open, come in and use the coupon, right? For either half price or 50% off or 40% off or 75% off. Yeah, that's what they're doing. I wouldn't recommend a coupon to say come in for your first haircut or free or whatever. I think normally you would do that, but I think giving them a percentage of the full price will actually bring some money into the store. Plus, if someone's exchanging a coupon with money, it's a possibility they can upsell them. It's harder to upsell someone who has a coupon and doesn't really want to spend cash, right? Or spend money. So I think that strategy is really going to help them, and that is I'm seeing people do that. Mike says Facebook targeted local ads, 8% of increased sales. Definitely, I think you can create digital coupons as well. You can do Facebook ad coupons. I mean, there's so many crazy stuff that you can do. It's quite interesting what you can do. And people are actually, for example, Google at the moment are giving $150,000 a year in free ads to nonprofits. So there's people out there that are creating a brand new business from that by showing people how to set up a nonprofit, and they're actually helping them apply for these grants, which give them $150,000 worth of free Google ads. And that's like what, $10,000 a month on ads. So see, guys, where there's opportunity, people are creating whole new businesses from this. So it is really interesting. Looking at the landscape in terms of what people are doing and how they're creating whole new businesses from opportunities. So that's what I say, guys. Always keep your ears and eyes open in terms of what people are doing. All right, guys. So that's the challenges for this week. If you're watching the recordings, I hope you enjoyed that. And like I say, you can always comment in the group on the. I'll have the recording obviously up, and then under the video, the recording, you can always put comments in there. or any further ideas you want to expand on. All right, guys. So next Platinum Mastermind call is Sunday, the 17th of May, and hopefully we'll all be out of lockdown by then, but we'll see. And let's do a Q&A. So, guys, if you've got any questions for me, please put your questions in the chat box now while I sip my tea. So, give me your questions. Any questions for me? Please put it in the chat box. Any questions about anything? Ask me anything. Any questions, guys? Anything I can help you guys with, or any anything you want me to cover, recover? Any questions? Greg says, how did the supercar thing come up? Okay, so a good question. Now, one thing I've always taught you guys, and some of you do it, but not all of you do, is put out there what you do. Let people know what you do. So one of the things that I've been talking about a lot recently is about brokering luxury assets. So I did an interview, and I'm going to basically I'll post that interview actually in the group tomorrow. Yeah. No, not tomorrow, because I want to put this I want to put the recording up of this first. But the day after I do this one, let's say Tuesday, yeah, I'll put a interview up that I did last week talking about brokering luxury assets, and it was really, really good. And I just put it out there to guys, and I say, look, because I've done a couple of watch deals, I've brokered a couple of watches, but supercars is really what I want to do. So last year I did one deal on a supercar. I didn't make any money from that deal. I just did it as to see the process of how to broker that car. And let me tell you, cars are harder to broker than luxury watches. Watches are easy, very easy to broker. Cars are harder, but it's something that I'm really interested in. And I have a couple of friends who do high level hypercar brokering, and I have friends who do yacht brokering, and I've got a friend who does private jets. So I'm going to be interviewing those guys soon for a new program that I'm launching called Learn to Broker. It's an online program because I was scheduled to do another boot camp, but obviously right now boot camps aren't happening, so nobody's traveling. So you guys will all get access to that program, Learn to Broker, my new beta group program, and that kicks off on 27th of May. So everyone in my mastermind group, which is you guys, will get free access to that. It's originally a $5,000 program. And I just put it out there, and people started reaching out to me. I've got a couple of guys who reached out to me from some big groups, actually a couple of internet marketers really, and they wanted some watches. So I brokered a couple of watches for those guys, and I'm documenting everything as I go along because I'm going to feature it in the new program. And then a guy out of nowhere messaged me and says, "I've got you're a broker, right? And I heard you're like a super broker." And I said, "What is it? How can I help you?" And he said, "Well, I've got a car. I've got a LaFerrari. I think it's 2.5-3 million dollars." And he says, "We need to." Basically, he said, "I need to get rid of in the next week." So I said, "Okay, I've got a guy who is a hypercar dealer." And I said, we talk regularly, and I said to him, look, I'll reach out to him. So I did that. I said, send me the specs, send me what you're looking for, send me where the car is. I need the VIN. I need all this spec. I need all these numbers. So he sent that to me, and I forwarded it to my guy, and my guy said, look, this sounds good. Make the connection. So I've connected those guys on that deal, and this is the first deal I'm doing on this hypercar. So I haven't quoted anything, but my friend who's going to handle the deal is going to give me a kickback. So I don't know what it's going to be. Whatever it is, I'll take it because I just want to do the deal. So that's how the deal with the hypercar. It's not a supercar, so this is a hypercar. Hypercars basically are 2.5 million plus. Anything below, I think, a million is a supercar. I think above a million is a hypercar. Hypercar is much more. The deals on hypercars are different than supercars. So let's say, for example, I've got a friend who's got a Ferrari, let's say 458, which is $250,000. you can do a straight deal on that by brokering that deal, and the buyer and the seller they do a wire transfer, for example, and you get a kickback. You get probably 5%, or even I don't even know if you get 10% on that, but probably a 5% on that, or even 10%. On a hypercar, it's different. You have to involve attorneys. There has to be a proof of funds, and there has to be a deposit taken as well, because most of these buyers are off-market buyers, right? Which means they don't want to reveal themselves who they are. So if I was approached by one of them, I couldn't reveal his identity. I couldn't even show pictures of the car, because you don't do that unless the person is really serious and you know they're serious. So that's where attorneys get involved. So it's an attorney to attorney sale. So the buyer, his attorney, has to contact my client, who's the seller, his attorney, and the attorneys will ask for proof of funds, and the attorneys will also ask for a deposit if they want to see the car. If they want to view the car, which will obviously right now they can't, it's going to be probably a video view, they still have to pay a deposit, because they have to show how serious they are, that they are a serious buyer. And then obviously if they like the car and they want to go ahead, then the deposit is taken off the price, the price is transferred, and the deal is done. If they don't like it, then obviously the deposit is returned. So that is a harder deal. It's a bigger deal that way. It's just more complex and complicated. So that's basically how the deal on the hypercar, the broker on the hypercar came about. And that's that. And I like to do more of those. I like to do more of those. But the luxury watches are the easiest ones to broker. You can make really good money with luxury watches, because they're just so small, portable, easy to ship. Whereas cars are just more complicated, and on the top end you need to have attorneys in place for that. So it's just more of a complex deal. Right, guys. So that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed today's mastermind call. And like I say, I'll have the recording up. And if you've got any more questions for me, please put it in the chat box. Otherwise, we will close the call, and I will speak to everyone soon. I think that's it. Any more questions, guys? If not, I'll close the call, if that's okay, which I will do. Brilliant. All right, guys, I appreciate you, and I will speak to you guys very soon. Take care.